Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. In today's video, I will give you guys some ways on how to become a better fighter in Fortnite. Before we begin, I just want you guys to know that I stream around 3 days a week on twitch.tv/TrixFPS. Once again, that is twitch.tv/TrixFPS. I'll also leave the link in the description below, and now let's begin. So how this guide will work is first I'll give you guys the raw tip, next I'll explain how it works, and finally I'll show you guys an example of it on my screen. Firstly, let's start off with rematch.gg ranked realistic 1v1s. And the reason why I believe that this is better than other methods such as looking for 1v1s in Discord or 1v1 fills is because those players really have nothing to lose if they do lose, so they'll usually just edit course you or play very unrealistic and stupid. Alright, so first when you head on to rematch.gg and you make an account, it should look somewhat like this. So what you want to do is you want to go over to ranked. You want to make sure it's 1v1s, unrealistics, and NA East. Then you queue up and it has like a timer. Usually the timers take about 1 to 5 minutes, so it shouldn't really take that long. And you obviously get a rank here. So I say the average like Fortnite player is about like gold to like plat. But if you get below this, don't worry, you can easily just improve over time. As you can see right now, I'm plat 1, and there's even a leaderboard system if you want to go for that. Secondly, we have 1v1 fills, but focus on switching off all your mechanics and only focusing on finding the perfect counter to your opponent's playstyle. And once you've beaten your opponent for a decent amount of times, then you move on to the next one, and rinse and repeat. And when I'm talking about finding the perfect counter, I'm not talking about just edit coursing them to death. And what I mean is that you should try out different playstyles and find out which one works best against a certain enemy playstyle. And if you guys don't have any playstyles learned to a high level, then just practice. Or if you don't know any playstyles besides your own, then you can just learn them and use them over and over again until you feel very comfortable with them. Some basic playstyles I highly recommend learning are the minimalist building, the aggressive defensive, the hard angles one, the spray spacing, and my favorite one, the high ground chip. If you guys would like an in-depth guide of any of these, let me know and I'll see if I can make one in the future. The reason why this works is because after doing this for a while, you'll start to build up a lot of fighting IQ, and you'll get to the point where you won't even have to think about finding ways to counter your opponent's playstyle. It'll all be second nature to you, and you won't have to like think about it during fights. Thirdly, it is doing maps such as Raider 464's Peace Control map or Coach Jazz's movement course, and try to benchmark your movement skills and not get shot once. If you fail, add it to your warm-up routine for like a week, and then eventually you will dramatically improve your like movement ability and ability to not get shot back. Alright, so when you first log into this map, you're gonna be in this sort of area. You just want to go get the boost right away. Uh, it doesn't have the current shotgun, but I just like using the blue pump or purple pump just because it hits the fastest and it doesn't really matter what gun you use. You just gotta kill the guy fast. And I'd almost recommend always going impossible. I really wouldn't recommend any of these because impossible really tracks your movement ability. So you just gotta just try to not get hit once. If you get like just try doing this whole thing and try not to get hit once. If you do get hit once, then just try the whole thing over and over again until you get it. And this map is bugged right now, so it's doing this. But yeah, basically you can do either this or the Raiders Peace Control map. I like to do this because it's more like movement only, while Raiders map is like building and editing. But you can just do both. I'll have codes popping up on the screen right about now. So yep. Good. The reason why I want to focus on movement so much is because if you watch any pro for 2 seconds, you'll see that they're making about 10,000 right hand peaks a second. So for you to get to that level, you first need to be able to master movement against a bot that is standing still. Like everyone says, always start with the basics before you go into the advanced stuff. And last but not least, our final tip this episode is to go into solo arena, but only focus on one specific technique / trick the whole entire time until you can get very comfortable with it. Just like what I said in tip 2, focused and purpose repetition is much better than brainlessly playing and hoping that something randomly clicks for you. Because when you're focused on something, your brain actually releases a chemical and puts a bookmark there for your brain to improve that specific thing while you're in sleep. I'll have a clip from the Rich Roll podcast of Andrew Huberman who can explain it in more depth here.
So in other words, if you want to change your brain as an adult, let's say you want to be less anxious, you want to learn a new language, you want to be more functional in some way, presumably. The key thing is to bring focus to some particular perception of something that's happening during the learning process. And the reason for that is that there's a neurochemical system involving acetylcholine. And it comes from these two little nuclei down in the base of the brain called nucleus basalis. All day long, you're doing things in a reflexive way. But when you do something and you think about it very intensely, acetylcholine is released from basalis at the precise neurons that were involved in that behavior, and it marks those for change during sleep or during deep rest later. So for people that want to change their brain, the power of focus is really the entry point, and the ability to access deep rest and sleep. Because most people don't realize this, but neuroplasticity is triggered by intense focus, but neuroplasticity occurs during deep sleep and rest.
So as you guys can see, I've played a little too much Celery in last season for my own mental health, and I can say firsthand that this stuff works. After only just one season of this, I went from having to waste all my Spider-Mans and launch pads the second I see someone to be able to win almost half my fights in solo cash cups. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, a like and sub will go a long way as I am very new to YouTube and any support will help out. Have a nice day and peace.